Hello everyone. Negotiate for logical willing is the topic of discussion in this presentation. So, what are the agendas? There are four things that I want to clarify altogether. They are introduction of a win-win situation where every stakeholders, when I say stakeholder, the conflicting parties comes out as a winner. The win-win mindset that we go around it, the negotiation technique that comes around it, and more win-win negotiating wisdom that will be there for you to understand. So this is what we are looking into it, as in what exactly is the win-win negotiation is. So, what exactly is negotiation? Remember, negotiation is a way of satisfying your interest of getting what you want, what you need. We negotiate because we sometimes doesn't get our thing, the desired thing. So we bargain upon it. So negotiation is nothing but probably satisfying your requirements. If I may say so, satisfying your ego, basically whatever you want, whatever you aspire for doing around it. Why do you go for negotiation? Because at times you think some other parties, due to some partiality, some biasness, or the way the environment has behaved, not in sync to your requirement. As a result, you feel being deprived, you feel being cheated, and that is the time, that is the moment when we start negotiating to get what is right for us, what we demand, what we feel is the just cause altogether. So, negotiation for win-win outcomes. So what are the possible outcomes? There is a party wins, another party lose. The other outcome is both the party loses. They both walk away from the issue altogether. And another party that comes around, another outcome which is out, like 50% of the time party one of the party wins, and 50% of the time the other party wins. So there is a mutual win loss, which is partial win and partial loss, as the case might be. But the best situation is all about win-win, wherein the both the conflicting parties, or any conflicting parties, they come out as a winner, they come out as a joint winner at the end of the negotiation or the conflict resolutions, right? So let us understand what is the conflict resolution process or negotiation process is all about it. First and foremost thing, what do you want? Please identify that in clear fashion. You write it down, you jot it down. Once you determine what you want, you will state it out. Find what are the multiple interests that comes around it. Now, when I say multiple interests, the variations in the outcome that you might be interested in. Variation, you might not be getting full 100% of the winning situation, but you are you happy with if you acquire 70% of the overall objectives? Assess what resources you have and what you bring to the timetable. This is one of the things that needs to be taken care of, as in what is your strength, what is your weaknesses. Now bring that strength on forefront, as in how will you capitalize on the strength to the table, as in the form of a negotiation, what you can offer it to your opponent party, or the conflicting parties, or should I say the aggrieved parties in this case. So what strategies, tactics you might employ in negotiation? This is what I've tried to tell it to you. When there are certain aggrieved parties, if you can mitigate those grievances with certain about your attributes, extend a helping hand to them, so that is where you will able to win their confidence. So know the other party. Apart from knowing yourself, look at it, apart from knowing yourself, you should be knowing the opponent party also, the aggrieved party that I'm talking about it. Anticipate your counterparts negotiation style. This is what we will. They might be having a different negotiation style. They might be very aggressive, they might be threatening, they might be very sweet, they might be resorting to malpractices. They might keep all the hearts of negotiation, all the cards that needs to be there close to their heart. Formulate some open options. That is one of the things that I've been trying to tell it to you. The objective 70% achievable, is it agreeable or not? 80% achievable, is it done or not? Or you want a complete monopoly of 100% agreeable as far as the conditions are concerned? Consider. So know the environment. Are there any relevant changes or trends in your respective industry that we come? So Introductions to win-win negotiation. First and foremost thing is your bargaining thing, right? You have to come to the table with a lot of freebies, a lot of resources which you can barter around. That is what bargaining is all about. It is all about timing the issues. Most progress in negotiation occurs with the deadline approaches. This is what we have been saying it. So if we have deadline approaches which is 30 days in time, initial first week nothing will materialize, nothing will move around. The second week things will initiate to be coming on the table, people will bring on the process, and by the end of last 2 days that there will be hectic activities taking place as to negotiate. Because in such a scenario, when there is a deadline, in case there are nothing which has been reached as far as negotiation is considered, and there is a deadlock or a stalemate, every party loses. And this is one of the approaches that nobody would love to encounter. That will be a lose-lose situation. This is not um, appreciated by either of the parties. So we talk about the venues and sittings. Remember, always make the venue neutral. This will empower the other parties or both the parties to come up with their own style of negotiation and be at their best as far as coming to the bargaining table is concerned. Nobody will be fixated into their position altogether. Why do people or the agri parties get fixated to the position? Because at times they feel that they are in a hostile situation, or they are in a situation which is completely or purely biased against them, so they become adamant. So that should not happen. So we have to have a venue which is neutral in territory. And I have just given you an example, and it can be anything and everything that goes around it. We have a seating on a round table factors, that is. So, first and the foremost, during the bargaining power, set the agenda. What is the real objective? Why are you setting for this particular negotiation? So, develop those agendas before you actually sit down and circulate it to your counterpart. This is what you need to go around it, circulate it. What are the issues that needs to be brought in? Remember, once the agenda has been circulated, everybody will come up with a similar responses, the responses in which they want to think it out. And depending upon the responses is where you have to build and prune down your objectives or the agenda thereby. So you should create an agenda by yourself. You should circulate the agenda to the opponent party or the aggrieved party or the conflicting party. Keep in mind that they can be it may be crafted to afford any of their advantages. So basically you are trying to give certain leeway, certain legroom, certain advantages to the opponent party or the conflicting party, which will make them comfortable in their shoes, and they will not have a feeling that they are going to lose this bargaining or negotiation ploy. So we need to understand, should you bring with your team? It's always a good idea to bring in your team. Remember, if things goes wrong, you will not be blamed. It is the team, a collective conscious of the people that will be taken into consideration. Two heads any day is better than one. And do not bring your whole team, do not bring the whole nitty-gritty of the things as far as everyone is concerned. Bring few of them. Probably anything from 5 to 8 people is fair enough, and expect similar number of heads from the conflicting party also. You cannot negotiate with 1,000 people and only 3 heads as an aggrieved party. That will not be biased. That will be completely unfavorable in their nature. Again, the situation become very hostile. So be very realistic. Be very neutral in your approach together. The win-win dimension is all about being assertive and being orientation, people oriented that we are talking about. The way you communicate should be able to tell your interest very clearly, very directly. It is an ability to stand up for yourself. You should be assertive, but at the same time should not be very dominating in your approaches. You should let the other person feel that, have a sense of directions for them during the negotiation processes. Never ever steps on anyone else's toes. Have a sense of fairness. So basically, what we are looking into it, two dimensions. It's the assertiveness and the people orientation. Remember, apart from the assertions where your communication should not be very dominative in nature, we are at the same time be very consultative in our approaches as far as people orientation is concerned. It denotes sensitivity to the requirement. So let us come to the win-win mindset of the five style of negotiation. These are the five style: competing, collaborating, compromising, avoiding, and accommodating. At any point. So this is now what are we talking about it? These are the outcomes in terms of assertive natures or the behaviors of the self, or should I say on the behaviors of the others, which is cooperative or uncooperative. When you are very assertive but uncooperative as far as towards the other people, you are basically competing. You are not willing to shed an inch as far as the goals for confused or conflict is concerned. So that is very fighting for each other. But what will happen when you are assertive but are very cooperative towards other? So basically, here you are looking for some kind of mutual win. There is a partial win, partial um scenario where everybody comes out a winning factor. That is what collaborating, the best methodology that comes around here is around here being collaborative to every one of the things. So either of the parties, neither of the party loses, neither of the party wins, but at the same time everybody comes with the feeling of achieving their respective goals around it. That is where collaboration comes around it. That means both the parties now are working towards attaining their all the objectives of their respective scenarios, or the objectives that they began during the conflict resolution process was all about it. This is the best scenario that comes across it. Now what happens when you are unassertive? That means you are not interested as far as yourself is concerned, but and is evidently not even bothered by the other's behavior. Now this is where the place where we are talking about avoiding or withdrawing. So you neither care about yourself nor do you care about the other fellow or the aggrieved fellow or the conflicting fellows altogether. That is what is being avoiding altogether. And what happens when you are unassertive about yourself but very cooperative towards the other? So basically, you're giving all the spaces. It is you are ceding all your ground. You are ready to accept defeat and probably let the opponent party or the conflicting party win about it. Anything in between, anything in between is compromising. Anything with have a little bit of a fighting, little bit of a mutual problem solving, little bit of a withdrawing, little bit of a self-scrapping is negotiating. This is where compromising comes around it. This is what we are looking into it. Remember, this is the behavior that is the win-win side situation. So what do we aspire to become across it? We would essentially want to be a collaborative in nature altogether, which is completely a win-win situation. But at times there would be a partial win, partial lose as far as compromising is concerned. In avoiding, it is all lose-lose. In fighting or in competing, it is we only win, the other party has to lose. In accommodating, we only lose and the other party has to win. So what is we are looking into it? This is where there is a plus plus situation of collaborating, which is a win-win solution that comes around it. Here only half of the time we are winning and half of the time we are losing. So that is what is compromising is all about it. So this is what we are looking into half altogether, the five style of that comes around it. First and the foremost thing is the avoids confrontation. That this is one factor that we come across and keep on telling it to you every now and then. It's avoiding confrontation, controversies, tense situation. What are we looking into? We are walking away from any form of conflict that is there thereby. Basically, we are putting off negotiation wherever possible, whenever possible. Accommodating, on the other hand, is focusing on other person's requirement, other party's requirement, then our own. We are willing to see the existence of our objective altogether. Now, these seizing of the objective is not good. So helping the other party win at our own expenses, probably people are footing, probably we will be treated as a nobody in due process of time. And that should not happen in the negotiation in the first place. Trying to winning the approval of the other party by pleasing the other party, this is what we are more interested as to follow it around. Probably in the negotiation, the other party is too big for us to assess, reassess altogether. Follow the other party's lead and emphasize on the areas of agreement. And what is the agreement that we are looking into it? The other party's objective. We are meeting everything, all the criteria that is required by the other party to meet. then is all about competing. Now, this is where we are using power. We are possibly muscling our way through to have a favorable outcome towards us. Nothing else. We care very less or little for the opponent party. Exploiting the other party weakness is something what we do about it. We are dominating altogether, wears that other party down until the party gives in. That is what we. How do we? What are the resorts we go through? We resort to threats. We resort to manipulation, dishonesty, hardball tactics, and probably have pressure tactics out there. This is what is competing us all about it. Now, in terms of compromising, did I say this is you are winning some and you are losing some? So you are basically splitting the differences, believing in quid pro quo and give and take places. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. You help me realize half of my objective, I will definitely help you in realizing half of your objective. This is what compromising is all about. It is always the middle of the range, seeking solutions thereby. But what is the collaborating steps? It is about speaking openly, communicating effectively, building trust, listening to the other party, exchanging ideas and information, seeking out of box solutions, striving to create value for both the parties. This is what we are looking at it. And negotiation as a joint exercise rather than a problem solving, or it's a problem negotiating thing. It is an exercise in problem solving. It is an exercise wherein both the parties will emerge as a winner. Remember what we are talking about it, being having a transparent communication, having a sense of trust among the people, listening to the grievances of the other parties and either of the parties, and we are trying maximizing our effort to ensure that both the parties covers their maximum number of objectives. This is what the exchanges is all about it, seeking create. So point number one, how do we go across is, this is how we go across is, first and foremost thing is to ask question. The moment you ask question, did I say about the agenda, you should circulate the agendas, you listen actively, probably read the agenda thoroughly, probably come up with a solution thereby, probably understand the situation from a different perspective or from the perspective view of the conflicting parties altogether. Empathize, that is what we are looking into it. Empathize with them, and then probably come forward and consider why, what is paining you, your position, elaborate upon your point of view. Why is there that bargaining has to take place, as in what is not going in the perfect harmony. So think creatively and come up with a solution, think out of box wherein both of the people would come as a winner, and that is what we are looking at it. So ask questions, listen and actively, empathize, consider, explain, and so why do we need tactics? Number one, to become a win-win negotiation, we require tactics. Now, this is where I like to set up out here. Tactics is all about allocating of your resources, that thereby whatever is your strength, how you are enabling the opponent party or the conflicting party achieving their objective. So I initial offers and counter offers. Nobody expects the first offer to be the best offer. Yes, we all reserve all the things, the best thing for the last, right? So we don't expect the first offer to be the best offer. Even if you're delighted with the first offer, express certain reluctance, and believe me, your counter will feel somewhat better than what you are looking into it. So always give an offer and a counter offer, thereby to improvise upon your score. And that is what the negotiation tactics is all. Next is something what we call as in who goes first. This is what we are talking about. Who goes first? Let the other party, the aggrieved party, make the first initial offer whenever possible. Then you will understand who is going to lean first, who is going to be lenient in the process altogether. The counterparts initial offer might be more favorable than you probably you expected. Definitely yes. So you learn something when a counterpart makes an offer, the first offer, as in there is where you have to. I have already stated it to you. You can understand that the counterpart is willing to be more prone to come to a solution rather than letting this conflict boil on and on forever. So make the initial offers by yourself. Probably that's the approach number two. The initial offer is a powerful anchor too, as in it shows your initiativeness to resolve the conflict. Your initial offer should be high enough of your aspiration range, but within your counterpart of your acceptable range. This is what we are looking into. It should be high enough in terms of your, see, 50, more than 50% you have given, approximately 65% you have given. So this is within the parameters. The counterparty would be looking for this kind of a range where there is, this is the party. So probably from here you actually save on and give them and give a thrill them with their offer in the first stage. This will make the environment much conducive to resolving it. So tips to make an offer, let us understand what are the tips to make offer and counter offer. Never ever appear too eager for the deal. Absolutely not. Have a poker face. Ensure that you are giving more, even though you're giving less. Do not be emotional about the subject of negotiation. Never be very personal into it. Always view the negotiation topic or the object in a very objective fashion. So be never be emotional. Be very objective. Do not make counter offer very quickly. Analyze their offer absolutely, and best case scenario, make it, boil it down, think it over, and come up with your counter offer. Give reason while making a counter offer as to why this particular offer that you are giving around it. Have valid reason or state very strong reason for your offer that you are making it, and be prepared for any sort of responses or reactions that you make from your counter offer. Remember, always, every time that you make, people will not be happy, or even for that matter, even they might be into a poker face and not show that they are very eager for making a deal. So only get offers and counter offers in writing. Never ever be very verbal about it, because this getting in writing will getting the offers into black and whites, which helps you establishing yourself in front of your own team retrospectively. So that is what which goes around. So anchor points, look at it. A very beautiful sales girls actually making some offer to a native sales girl, should I say, making an offer to a foreigners, right? So it might be for $50, been giving at a discount of $20 for 30 rupees. Okay, you bargain at $20, and then probably the foreigner is actually running it out. So what has happened is the opportunity is lost by this wonderful lady altogether. The first offer in negotiation, ensuring counter offer serves as an anchor point. You need to go about it. This is what we're looking into it. Remember, anchor point determines the negotiation range, as in what we are talking around it. Influence the settlement price thereby. This is what we are looking every now and then. So anchor point has to be very specific. So if there is $50 and then you're paying for $20, which is less than 50% of the value, probably the gentleman, the foreigner would understand that this is a fake and this is another ploy to dupe money from him. As a result, he is going. So you cannot, if you have stated this for $50, give a $10 discount or a $5 discount. If remember, $5 is a 10% discount that we are offering it out. Any discount beyond that means there are apprehensions and there would be thoughts which is not in your favor. Remember, negotiating, the third steps is all about the negotiating step technique. We are talking about being the flinch, the reluctance, the squeeze, the timing, the good guy, bad boy image, the signs, the blinding. These are all my tactics that comes around it as far as negotiation and counter tactics is concerned. So make money easy for them to say yes, yes, obviously yes, making it easy for them, giving more than that is required, or at least giving that feeling that you are losing more than what they are anticipating. You are not just negotiating with him, you are negotiating with everyone within your team also, because at the same time you have to elaborate or compensate or explain yourself as to why did you arrive to a negotiated deal. So negotiation by telephone or email or concession thereby is what we are talking about. The win-win wisdom that comes around it. So be, what I'm trying to tell it to you is, be accessible to them. This is what we are looking at into it. Have them being more accessible. Let them speak. You, the moment you are making yourself accessible to them, that means there is a confidence building measure in place. So Next, but the thing would be of ultimatums, which might be with a successful bluff, with a failed bluff, wherein you might be threatening, or whether you might be giving is some kind of freebies that comes around it, or successful ultimatum or failed ultimatum that comes around it. Remember, if things that you promise and you don't want to deliver, that is a bluff. But if you things, if you want to, you promise and you actually deliver, is what is the ultimatum. Remember, dealing with an impasse is where you can decide to walk away, absolutely walk away, or continue with a conflict, and that will not be healthy for either of the party or either of the organization that comes around it. So win-win situation is of all about ultimatums, all about thereby. So five negative negotiation behavior that I want to go around before I wind up this particular presentation. First and the foremost thing, never be personal. Absolutely never be personal. Always be very much objective oriented. Too many arguments, be aggressive about it. Never be overconfident and never lose focus, as the case might be. This is what we are talking it out time and again. This is what we are looking out. The personal attacks, too many arguments, abrasive comments. Never be a loose mouth. Have a sense of confidence but never an overconfident. This will actually demean the pressure or demean the value of the negotiation altogether. Focus is most important. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.